Hey everyone, up at Middle St Vrain, thought I'd give you an update. Had some mechanical issues with the excavator this week, so kind of slowed me down a little bit, but got most of what I was hoping to get done. Officially we were done on Tuesday, and I got an extra couple days with the excavator, so that helped with mechanical issues. So yeah, I can't remember if I showed this section last week or not, but I'm gonna start here and then work up towards the intersection of Sourdough and Middle St Vrain. So here's the flip. So this little guy, so intersections right here, and then this little guy. The trail used to split on either side of it, so I just took this section out. Let's back it up a little bit. Took this section out, put this rock in play, and then just made the trail kind of go on this side, or stay on this side. Obviously a little rock roll up and over, a little drainage here, kept it kind of natural as is through here. And then coming up the hill to the intersection of Sourdough looks a lot different. And of course it stops raining right when I need it to rain to really pack in this dirt, because it'll actually do really well when it gets moisture, but when it's dry it's moon dust, so that's unfortunate. I might have to come back and tweak this a little bit when we get an excavator again. We'll see. But yeah, this is what I have so far. It's hard because obviously this is kind of the main line. Most people are coming from the bottom, coming up to Sourdough and going up the hill from there. So I kind of made this the dominant line when this used to be kind of the secondary line, really. The straight line that went west on Middle St Vrain was kind of the main one. So yeah, so I made a little break in the middle of the berm to be able to connect through, obviously. This is a little catch berm on the bottom. Most people, I think if you're just kind of cruising it, you should be able to make this pretty easily, just staying in the trail and using the upper berm up here is fine. But I think this part of the trail is probably okay for most people for now. When we come back and start focusing on Sourdough in particular, might rework this turn up here, which we'll get to. But anyway, catch berm here, obviously a big drain right here in a roller that I'm standing on. I actually opened this up a little bit. It's nice, especially in the wintertime, to have kind of a little staging area. This is usually where people stop, take clothes off if they're too hot, check their tire pressure, all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of nice to have a little more open area. So I kind of opened up this area and here, a couple rocks to either put your foot on or even sit down if you want to. Yeah, so that, and try to make it a little bit flatter. It kind of actually rose up and then dropped down. So I tried to flatten it out a little bit just so it's more of a little platform for people to hang out a little bit, so, and get off the trail as well. So anyway, coming up from Sourdough, this used to be that tight little section. I'll try to put a still in the comments so you can see what this looked like, because I do have a picture of that with the old water bars that were here, really tight, like maybe 2 feet wide. So open that up, create the berm, and then up and around we go. Another dip here. So this was just a long run out section. So dip here, get water off, and then berm this up a little bit. I want to come back obviously and hit this. This is just kind of temporary since Sourdough wasn't really our main focus during this project. But I just thought with the berm being right at the intersection there that we should probably try to make this a little bit better for people. So if you remember, this was that kind of step up with the boards that were slowly rotting. So the boards got popped with the volunteer event. We just backfilled it with rock. So everything underneath this dirt is just rock. So that's all going to kind of settle in over time and help keep those rocks there. And then obviously open up a big drain, because this whole hillside here, from the turn above all the way down, when I was here last Thursday, this was a river flowing down all the way through here, through the berm, around the corner, and out. So get water off here. Then long term, we'll figure out what we're going to do through that section. I would love to be able to open this turn up the hillside here, and then just have a nice big radius turn and then pop down and then tie him back into the trail right here. So come up around here. We'll see. A lot of rock in there. See what the Forest Service is game for. That might be something they just can't do, at least on a short time frame. So, or maybe they're going to look into that. So, but yeah, now you get a little better view of coming down into the drain. Catch a little bit of a vertical rise here just to kind of help scrub speed a little bit. I try to open up this berm as much as I can. Word to the wise, it is soft, so don't treat this like a normal berm. Need to get some water. If I can get like an electric sprayer with a 5-gallon bucket, I'll be able to get water from the stream up here and maybe try to do it. That might work. actually pretty well, but obviously I just didn't have time to do that this week. So yeah, don't come racing up here expecting to just rail this berm. But like I said, I think most people are coming off here and then dropping in. So that catch berm is just sort of a just in case kind of thing. And we'll ride it, figure it out, see if we need to make any tweaks long term. Got done with the rock armoring yesterday, finished this all off. So this is the old connector. This is not, I would say this connector is mostly for people coming from Camp Dick Campground and then coming up this way to go up Sourdough. So not a huge number of people in terms of visitor use, but still needs to be here. So I just used the rock that I dug up from building the berm and everything else. Use that to backfill it. Coming through here, another little dip. Micron helped us out with that, so they got that dip going. I really didn't even touch this one at all. Saw during that rainstorm when I was standing under this tree and looking down and seeing water just flowing down that this was a good spot to have a drain to. So this section's kind of rocky, rooty. So I try to mimic that a little bit. So this is a little bit of a steeper rise, rock on the crown here, as you can see, trying to hold off this little cheater line because people are trying to go out through here because it was a lot smoother. So try to force that line down through the middle here, nice deep drain. And then coming in here, saw this guy. So reconfigured this drain. This used to be an old school 45-degree rock lined water bar essentially. So squared those rocks up to the tread, and then found this little guy here and just happened to find this perfect rock as well. So nice little booter on the side. Narrow this down a little bit. It was getting wide. People were going around the rocks and going way out to the outside. So pinch this trail down a little bit and just make it a little more narrow. So that's pretty much the big stuff. I did a bunch of little drains moving up the trail for the most part, but really that's pretty much it. Everything else above, there's one little spot that I'm going to do probably a little bit of rock work and a drain right before the last boardwalk, or maybe the second to last boardwalk. But otherwise, just little drains here and there, little stuff like this. A couple little small rollers, but in terms of rock work or anything like that, or any kind of rock rollers, that was pretty much it. Camp Dick cutoff is up here. Rolling up to that. I did trim the tree on the left a little bit because I know that's always kind of a sleeper trail off to the left. It's hard to see. So I just cleaned up the tree a little bit, but yeah, so right here. So that tree used to come out quite a bit. So it was like a big roll around and it kind of sucked you into this line going through the creek crossing, which is not that big of a deal. It's usually never that deep. But anyway, that just opens up that line a little bit more. So it makes it a little more easy. Thanks to our volunteers, Micron, that came out. They got in here and dug this culvert out. This culvert used to overtop quite a bit. Turns out it was just full of rocks and sediment and everything else. And so they got in there and dug that all out. Now this thing's flowing pretty free, and it's going to take a lot of water for this to fill up again. So, yeah. But if anybody wants to come up and lug 5-gallon buckets so I can wet down the burn and pack it out, easy spot. Campground's right over there, so not too far away. But anyway, that's what I got going for this week. And I'm going to do a little bit of handwork probably to start next week just to wrap everything up, and then moving on to the next project. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.